As we have talked about before in this series, C# is an object-oriented programming language, which basically means that the data and behavior are organized in reusable data structures called objects. Today, we're going to talk about classes and objects, which are the two main aspects of object-oriented programming. In C#, a class is a blueprint or template for creating objects. It defines the data and behavior of the objects that will be created based on it. In simpler terms, a class is like a blueprint for a house, where the house represents an object, and the blueprint defines the structure and behavior of that house. So here I have just created a simple console application in Visual Studio. Here you can see a program class with a main method inside of it. What this main method is the entry point of a console application. As soon as the program starts, this is the first method to be invoked, and we'll use this main method to actually create. This is the place where we create the objects after we have created the class. The main method is usually stored in a separate class, or so to say in a specific class, and we name it program by convention. And actually, I will start this tutorial by creating firstly a class. Above it, to create a class, we write firstly the class keyword, and then we give a name to the class. I'm naming it user, and then inside curly braces we define the class. A class has fields and methods. What fields are like variables inside the class, and what they do is they define the property, they define the data or the property of the class. Let me just take an example here. The first field, I'm gonna have a name field. I'm writing here public string, and I'm giving it a name of name. So what this public keyword here does is this is an access modifier that basically allows us to access this field of the user inside other classes. And then I will actually make a specific video about access modifiers so that you won't get overwhelmed in this video, but just so that you know what it does. And then we write the data type and a name for the field. I'm actually going to go ahead and create another field. I'm naming a string, and I'm naming it username. In Pascal case, that's how you write it. And now I'm also going to create a method. Methods basically just define the behavior of a class. I've also made a separate video about methods, just a couple videos before this. I think I will link that down in the description. But yeah, let me just create a method. Firstly, I'm making it public so that it can be accessed outside this class, just as I did for the fields. And then we write the return type, which I'm gonna set it to be void, so that it doesn't return a specific data type. Then I'm giving it a name. I'm naming it getUser, then parentheses, and inside curly braces here, I'm just gonna print out to the console. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna print out to the console this name and username fields. So like with this string interpolation, this is how we access the fields. Name, and don't forget the semicolon here. So here we have created our class, and down in the main method we can create objects which are instances of classes. So to create an object, firstly the syntax of it is, firstly we write the name of the class, and then we give a name to the object. I'm naming it first user, and then equal, you write the new keyword user, which is again the name of the class, and then parentheses. this is how you create an object. And then to access the fields and the methods of this object, which it inherits from the class, we just write here the name of the object dot, let's say name, the name of a field, and we can give it a value here to it. Let's say Sean. And just the same way, we can also access the second field, the username. Okay, this is first user was the name of the object. We can give a value to the username. Let's say Sean.Baker. And lastly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also invoke the method, the getUser method that this object inherits, by just writing first user dot get user and then parentheses. And what this will do is actually it will just print out to the console the name and the field, the name and the username of this object. So if I run the program here, we should actually see Sean, Sean.Baker. We can create as many objects as we want. Let me just copy this down. I'm creating a second object. I'm naming it second user. Okay, I don't know what I did here. Then I'm giving it another name like John. User, and then here I'm accessing the username field. I'm making it like John.Baker, the username. And then I'm calling this method that this second object inherits as well. So if I run the program again, we will see for the two of our objects this method invoked. So let me just go back to our code here and to our class more specifically. We saw before class members that we have fields and methods. And it's also important to know that there are two types of class members. We have instance members and static members. Instance members are those members that are accessible from an object. As we saw in this example here, we firstly needed to create an object, and then we access the fields of the class and also the method. But we also have static members. Static members are accessible by the class itself. Let me just take an example here. I'm just making a static method. For us to do it, after writing public here, I need to write the static keyword. I'm making the return type to be void. I'm giving it a name. I don't know, I'm just printing something out to the console. So I'm just writing here print. And here, I write console.writeLine. And I'm just printing out this is a static method, just like that. And for me to access this method, I don't need to access it by an object. I only need to write the class name dot and then the name of the method. Let me just put this at the end. If I run the program, we should be able to see this is a static method. We can also have, of course, static fields. Let me just take an example of it. So writing public static int age, and I'm just giving it here a value, and we can access this value just by using the class name. So by using user.age, this is the way we access it. And for us to see this in the console, I'm just using this console.writeLine method. I run the program, we should see 22 at the end. We have actually seen static methods before. So just here, we can see console is a class, the name of the class, and a right line is the name of the method, which is static, because this is how we access this method, by just using the class name. Usually, static members are defined in those cases when something is singleton. Let's say in our console application, there's only one console, and for this reason, there wouldn't make sense for there to be different objects to tell you, for example, different ways of how you can print something out to the console. For this reason, the console class and all its methods or members are defined as static. I hope it makes sense. So this was it for this video. I hope you guys understood or learned something from it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done already, and I will see you guys in the next video.